Hey, gonna do a video on how I process and butcher up my rabbits here. Got this little guy here. He's 13 weeks old now. Probably a little over 5.5 pounds, or maybe 5 pounds, somewhere in there. I just get him out of the cage. I got a little weed patch right here, right off of my back patio, and I set him down and let him eat the weeds. They really like the dandelions. This one's a little nervous. I've been butchering rabbits, so it kind of smells like blood over here. But he'll go to eating. I have a little fence, a little old piece of fencing. I just sit there so they don't take off running. And then what I do is, when they're nice and content and they're eating their little weeds or doing whatever they're doing, or as long as they're calm, I take my pellet gun. This is a pretty high-powered pellet gun. Don't use any Daisy BB gun or anything, but a pellet gun, and I just stick it right behind the ears. Get there to eating, buddy. Go on. There you go. Alright, here he goes. Alright, here he goes. And he'll twitch for a little bit, but I can assure you he's feeling no pain. The brain is completely shattered in there. They do kind of twitch and wiggle for a little bit, but it's all over. Anyway, I will weigh this guy, and we'll get a video of the scale, and then I'll video the rest of the process. Alright, here is the rabbit, just freshly dispatched on the scale, and as you can see, it says 5.5 pounds, almost exactly. So I will dress this out and then put it back on the scale, and we'll see how much meat on the bone we get. Okay, here's my my rabbit processing station. It's just the post that holds up my deck, and I have a piece of paracord. Just tied a couple of slip knots in it, and I just have it hanging there. So I have a catch pan down below with the heads and guts and feet from the previous rabbits, and I will film the process while I Alright, well, first I start by cutting just below the heel. I start cutting the skin away. I pull it out from the meat, give it a snip, and just keep doing that all the way around till you got the skin cut through. Try not to cut through the meat and the tendons. Cut all the way through. Go to the inside of the leg and just slide your scissors down between the skin and the meat, and you try and get all the way down to the vent. Let's see if I can slide out of here. Okay, the scissors go all the way down to the vent, and you just cut it open. And you do that on the other side. Usually it slides right down in there, but today it's messing with me. Of course, because I'm filming. Alright, there it goes. All the way down to the vent. Alright. Then you take the hide. You got it cut all the way through, and you just peel it down. Just to the hip. Do the same on the other side. Down to the hip. And you take this part here, and you want to cut in here, but you don't want to cut into the abdominal muscles because you don't want the guts showing yet. Clean all that up. All right. And what I do is I turn this around. It's a nice thing about having it on the string is you can move it where you need to have it on the cord there. And I just peel this back until I can get my hand all the way through. And I pull it up to the tail, and I pull that all into one big clump there. And I just cut it all off in one big cut here, if I can. But tail and everything comes off there. And then if there's a little bit left here in the middle, you can just cut that out with scissors also. Alright. Then what I do next is I cut the head and the feet front legs off. Pull the hide up. I like to save the hide, so I pull that up as high as I can. Put the blade right just below the jaw, and then the blade, just cut it right off. Just separate the skull right from the spine. Front legs, I have a little pair of pruning shears here. Scissors would probably do it, but I don't like to dull my scissors up as little as possible. Those just clip right off, and then the hide's just ready to come off. You just work it down real slow. You don't want to tear the stomach open yet. So you just work it. Once it's past that point, you can just peel it right off. And then we're ready to start the gutting process, which is the same process on rabbit as it is on anything else. Try to get as much hair off of the scissors. Just pull on the stomach here. Cut a little hole, enough to get your fingers in, and then you just slide the scissors up, and you can see right here, this is the tip of the scissors. As long as you keep it pointed out, it won't get into the guts. So you can just zip it right open. There go the guts. Right here, this big yellow thing is the bladder. You don't want the contents of the bladder getting on any meat, so you pull that out like that, snip it off, drop it in the pan. That's all done. And then what I do is I take my scissors and I slide it up here and cut right through the pelvis. And then I break the pelvis open, and that gives you access to everything in here, and you just peel that out. Try not to get the contents of that on your meat as little as possible. It'll all wash off anyway, but try to keep it clean. Alright, and then you just peel everything out. These here are the kidneys. Just pull right out. I save them for my dogs. I don't like to eat the kidneys or the liver or anything like that, but the dogs love it, so I just feed it to them raw. The liver, rabbits have humongous livers. The size of that liver is huge. Alright, and then you separate it from the stomach. It all goes in the pan, and there is a gallbladder on here, right there. I cut that off before I give it to the dogs. Then all that's left is cut the diaphragm open, and then all I have left is the heart and the lungs. You just reach down in there, pull them right out. Right, there's the heart right there. Heart. And that's pretty much it. It's cut the back feet off, go rinse it off in the sink, and then we'll weigh it and see how much meat on the bone we got. Put that off up there at the knuckle. There you go. Rabbit cleaned. Alright, here's the rabbit skinned and cleaned. It was 5.5 pounds live, and it's just over 2.5 pounds cleaned. So that's just pure lean protein. These 2 back legs, the back loin. What I do is I normally I find like the last rib here, and I'll cut through the spine, and then I'll grill this whole back half on the barbecue, or however else you want to cook it, and then I'll save a few of these front ends. Like I'll get 3 or 4 of them together, and then I'll boil those down and then shred the meat off, and then use it just like you'd use shredded chicken. I use it for fried rice, add the shredded rabbit in there, or quesadillas, cheese and some tortillas, and throw it in there, and they're real good. You just have a mess of shredded rabbit meat. That's everything. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know.